We are on here. Let's do this.
He challenged me. He said, you should meet 2 or 3 people every day.
We're talking about how to level up on LinkedIn and engagement. Leading the go-giver, the idea that being open to opportunity.
We all deal with challenges, but how do you overcome that?
Master Connector with Steve Spiro and Cameron Toth is live on air.
Yes, we are. Connectors, we are so excited to be connecting with you this Wednesday, April 5th. Man, we are going to get into a topic that I love because I am a service-driven professional, and displaying leadership whenever you're out and about in the world in all of your conversations is a really big deal to me. It's something that we talk about in our interview process in a lot of different ways. We don't actually talk about leading without the title, but in so many different ways, we talk about being proactive and treating others with kindness. And so that is what today's show is all about. We're excited to get into it. We're excited that you're here. Show us some kindness. Get down into the comment section and let us know where you're tuning in from. We always love to hear. I am broadcasting live from Valhalla, New York. My man, the master connector himself, Steve Spiro, is connecting to us from Stamford, Connecticut. Sharenta's going to tell us where she's connecting to us from when she gets a chance. My folks, without further ado, the master connector himself. Steve, tell us what we're doing today.
What's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the master connector, coming at you live and direct here. I appreciate that. And yeah, listen, get in the comments. Like Cameron said, get in there. Connect with each other. This is the Master Connector show, so you want to be in there. Make sure you're communicating. We love participants. We don't believe in LinkedIn lurkers. We believe in LinkedIn participants. So get in there. Let's hear from you for sure. But yeah, I want to get into this. So leading without a formal title requires a different set of skills. It requires the ability to influence and inspire others without the authority of a formal title, okay? And it also requires having an understanding of the mission or casting a vision that allow people to, and you want to be able to convey that clearly to those around you, right? And you ultimately want to buy-in from them, and that's going to allow you the ability to be able to lead people, without that title. You need to build relationships, foster collaboration, and create a team atmosphere. Super important in leading people. It also means recognizing and rewarding contributions of those around you. Things go well, while also taking 100% responsibility yourself when things don't go well, when they go bad. Okay. Great book. I know Cameron, if he's going to be able to, bring it up, but the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko Williams and Babbitt. I think I'm kind of butchering the authors, but they're Navy SEAL guys. Incredible book on taking ownership and leading up, leading over, leading down, right? It's not just leadership. It's not just who you manage or who who report to you, but it's all across an organization or a community. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, leading without a formal title could be extremely rewarding. It could be an extremely rewarding experience and can have real impact on those around you. And as I said, up or down or across, it doesn't matter. Okay. So if you're ready for us to have my man, my co-host, the magician, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain there, introduce our guest, I'd like you to type in the comments right now, #ready. And he is going to do it in the only way Cameron can do that. There we go. Here's the book. Here's Extreme Ownership. Thank you. A little collage of it too.
Lots of different images there. Yeah. It wasn't exactly what I was trying to share exactly, but
good, appreciate that.
The idea.
Well, Cameron, we want to hear you introduce in the way you do best. Type in #ready. All right, there it is. There it is. All right, great.
All right, my folks. Ready. So Yolanda's with us. Yolanda, like the sole LinkedIn participant, we appreciate you. We know that you're watching out there. Don't be LinkedIn lurkers. Get in there. Get in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Sharenta, where are you tuning in from today? Just so I can shout that out.
Tuning in from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Love it. All right. So I'm going to throw you nice and large on the screen here. My folks, this is Sharente Carr. Sharente Carr Foundation Coach has aided numerous individuals in coping with chronic illness, pain, abuse, and debt by providing sustainable solutions to empower them. With over 8 years of experience in marketing, project management, and business development, Sharente is a results-driven professional known for her strategic vision and disciplined execution. She's also a proud homeowner, married to her soulmate, and founder of her own company, JCLV21, which reflects her attitude to life: light, 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 loving exclusively while growing greatly in happiness together. Her latest project, the Speak From Your Heart podcast, features interviews with influential women, inspiring others with their stories. Welcome to the Master Connector Show, the charismatic coping consultant and our coach, Sharente Carr.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
All right. So, Steve, get us into this conversation here. What's the first question we're throwing at Sharente?
Yeah, you know what? It's so great to see you, Sharente. You and I have had several conversations, and it's been great to get to know you and hear, honestly, your crazy story. And we don't need to get into the nitty gritty of it, but we want to hear a little bit about that crazy start you had in life and kind of what's happened since. So, type in hashtag crazy start, and we're going to ask you. So here, I'll give a little brief, right? You were homeless at 14, had some crazy health issues, and you can get into that if you want to. Graduated high school at the hospital at 17, a homeowner at 18. Okay? We want to hear tell us about that and how you.
I'm jealous. I'm 44, still not a homeowner. So, I'm feeling like,
seriously.
Fill me in.
Yes, I could definitely do that. So during the time that we were super sick, my mom applied for Social Security and kept getting denied. We kept fighting it because we're like, hey, she's really sick and I'm really sick. We need help. So eventually she won it, but that also meant that it came with back pay. So we were looking for houses in Southern California and everything was obscenely at a high rate. And so we were like, you know what? We're going to vacation in Las Vegas and see what happens. Turns out that's where we found our first house. It was on sale for half off. And then if we paid cash, it was an additional half off. So we got the house for a quarter of the price. And it's still in the family till today.
Amazing.
Where I rebought it and everything.
That's crazy. Yeah. Wow. But listen, regardless, half price, quarter price, doesn't matter. 18 years old homeowner, that's crazy. So tell us a little bit about that journey in terms of what it was like and how you've gotten to be the amazing lady you are today.
Yeah, I will say at first it was hard because I felt like I was a sole provider and had no idea how to be an adult at the exact same time. And so there was a lot of miscommunication. There was a lot of fear and trepidation, making phone calls to then saying, you know what, I need to work on my mental health because I shouldn't be super scared to make these phone calls and I work in customer service. This makes no sense. So I definitely started working on myself to say, okay, if I'm going to be the leader of this household, then I need to know more about myself and quell the things in my mind so that I can stay present as much as I can. So that got into me leading at home, to leading at work in regards to just talking to people and having breakthrough conversations where they feel relieved after, to leading when it came to my schoolwork.
Absolutely. Good stuff. I got a little bit of delay going on here. So we want to get into the next topic. That's great. And, listen, very impressive how one of the big pillars of our show is having the grit to overcome obstacles. That's a big part of what the show is about, right? And you certainly have gotten over some obstacles, and you too, right? I mean, it's not, and that's life, right? Life is not a walk in the park. It's going to throw stuff at you. But my attitude, my perspective is whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And you know what? We've heard it. It's a cliche by now, but your mess is your message, right? Your test is your testimony. We all know that, right? And this show is about uplifting, inspiring, and being the light, right? So I want you to type in hashtag light. community, please just get in there, participate with us. And by the way, if you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay, and also you could put in hashtag light when you're ready. Okay. But you have an acronym, LIGHT, right? And it means something. So tell our community a little bit about your version of what light means.
Yeah, I love that. I love acronyms. They're one of my favorite things in the whole wide world. And where this particular acronym came from was my poem, and this was the end of the poem, and the poem just it came through me, and it said, "Loving inclusively while growing greatly in happiness together." And I was like, well, how can that even occur when like I see so much division in the world? And then that's where the inclusivity came in of, hey, you have to be inclusive. Right now, because you're thinking of separation, you're being exclusive. And we don't need that. We need more coming together. We need more unity. And when you grow in more unity, you get happier together. So I was like, that's how that one came to be.
That's awesome. Yeah. Listen, we are in a place now, we're moving into a society where, it's important to accept diversity, right? It's, you got to love people for who they are and encourage them to express that. Right. And I'm all for it because again, if this show is about being the light, the show is about love and respect and, people are who they are, right? So you want to honor them for what they are and who they are. Right. So now we want to get into the why, right? One of my favorite books is Simon Sinek, Start with Why. And so type in hashtag why right now, put that in the hashtag in the comments. So love to hear your perspective, Shermente, on why or how you could be a leader without the title, right? That was the promise of this show, right? How to lead without the title. So tell us why and how you could be a leader without the title.
Sure. So what a lot of people fail to realize is that the fact that they get to lead their own life, they're a leader, point blank, simple. When you make a decision, you are the full soul and authority of your life. Whatever the decision is, whatever the reaction is to the person, place, or thing. So when it comes to the reason why, I realize it's because if I was going to love others in their fullness, I had to love myself first. I had to look at my dark self and say that those places are a-okay and I accept those places for me to actually love and start to influence others, because I was so open with my life that they could be open with their lives, because I did not stand from a place of judgment. I stood in a place of, I will be an open ear. And if you want advice as well as with the open ear, I can do that too. Whatever your needs are, I'm going to meet you exactly where you're at. Didn't matter if it was me talking to another specialist, talking to a director, talking to an EVP, or even CEOs. It was all the exact same type of conversation, because of the fact that I was always the one to say, I'm here to be that space for you, to have your moments, whatever those moments may look like, of anger, guilt, shame, whatever it is, and for us to move you forward to being able to be happy again. And the reason why I've always operated in this regard is because I truly believe that we can have world peace if we can have inner world peace. And I know that they're coming to me with their problem, and I'm there to just sit if they want to resolve it or work on it together with them. And so that's why I'll say that's my why, and that's the how that I do it.
I want to say I'm jumped into Stephen Covey's 7 effective habits of leadership. Right,
7 habits of highly
highly successful people. Thank you. I just murdered the title. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
I do that all the time.
So at the beginning of the book, he's kind of walking through like why talk about these things, why get into these pieces. And one of the things he talks about is negotiations. And so whether you're talking about countries negotiating or people negotiating, which I thought was really exactly what you're talking about, Sherente, right? This idea that when we negotiate, this idea that as we walk away from the negotiation table, that if we both leave not fully satisfied, a good deal was reached, right? If we both lost something, if it's not perfect, that's a good situation. And we sort of go to the lowest common denominator versus, can we as a couple, or it's a team, as people that are coming together to negotiate something, can we leave that table with a decision that leaves us both in a better place, both better for the experience, and having the mindset shift and the attitudinal shift to come into that conversation with that outlook in mind? And I think that's such a big game changer, whether you're talking about doing that in the workplace, whether you're doing that with your spouse, whether you're doing that country to country, knowing that we can come to the table and walk away with a better deal than we could have ever achieved on our own is such a profound mindset shift that if you don't make it, you'll never get there, right? Because it's a whole new understanding of what a deal looks like, right?
It's great stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned a great book, a great author. And one of the great authors that I love is John Maxwell, and he's written books, developing the leader within you, developing the leader around you. There's a bunch of books that I've read, listened to, and he says, how do you spell leadership? And it's EXAMPLE, example, right? And being a leader is really what you do. It's not always what you say. It's how do you live your life, right? Not to get religious on anyone, but I heard it was, I think it was St. Francis Assisi said, I preach the gospel everywhere I go, and when necessary, I use words, right? It's just, how do you live your life? What's your example? And so, we definitely need to, as people, be less about jaw jacking and more about how we live our life, because you could say stuff, but how you live is not always the same. So, but I know that you're doing that yourself, Charette Day, for sure. So, all right. So we want to get into the next phase of the conversation. So this is a big one, and I love this particular topic. Oh, here we come. There it is.
Throwing the book up there just so people can see it. John C. Maxwell, great author to follow. And look at that forward by Zig Ziglar on the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So good stuff.
Yes, that's a great book too, by the way, for sure. But yeah, so we want to talk about empathy, right? So hashtag empathy, community. We want you to put in there, and we're going to talk about this, right? Leading without authority requires empathy, and I know that you kind of something that you've talked about. So tell us more on your perspective of that, Charette.
So I will say, for me, empathy was one of the hardest lessons I've ever had to learn in my entire life, and compassion, two of the hardest lessons. And the reason is because I was so logical. It was like, this doesn't make sense. Why are we having emotions? Emotions suck. Like, I don't like these things. To experiencing my emotions. And I was like, whoa, this is what they're talking about. Okay, now I can understand what they're talking about a whole lot more. And this gave a whole new layer to like everything that they just mentioned. I can now feel what they felt. And oh my God, if I felt like that, how in the world would I want someone to talk to me? And I genuinely go from that point of view and give also the question of, what do you need in this moment? And sometimes the answer for them is, I don't know. And I literally will give them the options. Do you need me to sit here and be with you? Do you need me to talk advice with you? Do you need me to recommend a book for you to read? What kind of support are you really looking for right now, so that I can meet you exactly where you're at and not go above and not go below, kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that. I have a group that I work with. Steve knows Lynn Rowe. And so she has a group strategy council, and I'm sitting there sometimes, and we have this point in the meeting where we're supposed to talk about issues that we have, things that are going on that, we're supposed to tackle. And sometimes that's difficult for me because, it's not that I don't know what to do. I mean, I do a lot of educational pieces, not to mention this show as one of the big pieces. And so, I'm getting an education every week on this. I read, I jump into stuff, and sometimes it's not about what we know we're supposed to do. And that empathy plays huge, because sometimes I need people to have empathy with me. It's not that I don't know what to do. It's just there's a lot going on. And so knowing where to start and meeting people where they're at makes so much sense to me, Sharente, because you have to have that empathy with somebody. Otherwise, somebody's just hitting me over the head. And I'm a guy that does a lot, taking care of a lot in my life. And so, if somebody just says, well, you're a fool, you're a sucker, you're just a loser, I'm sitting there like, I can argue. I can say all the reasons why I'm not. I got some good self-talk going on, but at the same time, that love and that support and feeling, all right, you got a lot going on. I get that. Let's meet you where you're at. Let's figure out what you need help with and work some different angles for that. That's been such a big help for me, because when I get that kind of help, I feel relieved, and it helps me deal with the burden that's on my shoulders, rather than making me feel more guilty or more of a fool for all the things that I should be doing, or that I should know that I'm doing and I'm not doing, right?
For sure. I could very much relate, because, working with, a mentor and I know as hard has always been right, but the challenge is sometimes if you're not embracing what is being told to you, and maybe there's some challenges, maybe it's on your side, maybe it's on how it's being communicated, whatever it is, if you find yourself being the type of successful person you want to be, and you keep hearing it over and over again, you should do this better, you should do that better. For me, what happened was it actually wore on my self-esteem. It made me feel worse about myself through that. So at some point, you got to back up and you got to say, okay. And I love what you said, Sharente, in terms of, hey, what do you need from me? Because it's not always about, as leaders, what we think is best for them. Sometimes you gotta back up and say, okay, what do you need? How can I best help you? And guide them. Sometimes it's because a lot of times as leaders, there's a tendency to kind of people and kind of put your will on people. And it's many times it has the reverse effect, is all I could say. That's been my experience.
Yeah. As my wife would put it, she would say,
anything else you comment on that?
Steve, as my wife would say, shut up and make sure you listen.
There you go.
Oh, I'll just say this.
For sure.
Is self-sabotage is a thing. And I will say this, one of the new frameworks that I'm teaching when it comes to my coaching is about getting your saboteurs like locked down and not doing the people pleasing or the avoiding or any of the in-betweens. And everything that you guys were talking about, I was like, our saboteurs really can get us in a trick bag. Even though our other part of ourselves are like, we know we can do better here. And then they beat us up. And it's just, when my mind goes to a lot of different places and thinking about the neurons and what actually happens in your brain when you start adding adjectives and all those different things, and how it can take it from you being happy to really dragging you down super, super fast, just on the adjectives that you use in your thoughts and in what you're actually saying, and then what you're doing. It's just so fascinating.
Absolutely. And let me shout out.
We've had quite a few. Good, Cameron.
Yeah, let me just shout out a few people in the comments. So Yolanda was saying before, people respect those who take action and are proactive. And I think those words cannot be downplayed or underestimated, that leading by example, seeing somebody taking action and being proactive, and that leadership by example is such a big deal. People are more likely to follow someone who practices what they preach. And I know for me, somebody that says something and then doesn't follow their own words, like immediately for me, their value to me, the value that I place on what they say, through the floor, completely, all the credibility goes out the window. And Asha, who's coming to us, Steve, from Dubai, she said, being a leader is a matter of decision and determination, working without that fear, interacting with people, even though they're not at your level. They make you definitely a better leader. Just know that you can do it. So we appreciate those words of support, Asha. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in from Dubai. All right, Steve, back to you.
Yeah, this is a great question because we can dig into this a lot. But we want to keep things rolling and moving here. And, what we want to start talking about, because obviously this is all great information, but without the right tools, it's just information, right? So put in hashtag tools right now if you're ready for the next question. And so here's the question for you, Sharente, right? You've had an incredible life so far. I mean, you're young, you're in your 20s, so you've got plenty more to go. But what are some tools for people struggling with day-to-day life that they could use? So what are the things that you can provide them with, tools that you have? Like, before you answer, for me, we talked self-talk before, right? That is incredible, right? And how you could program your brain and through the words you're saying, both expressing, thinking, right? All those things, right? But again, I don't want to, speak for you. I'd love to hear your perspective on it.
I have two things to give you guys. Two. It might come up with a little bit more, but two for a fact. The first thing is know your love languages. This sounds so silly, but hear me out though. Go to thelovelanguages.com and take that quiz. It's going to tell you your 5 different love languages and the ranges for it. This quiz is what really got me to really starting to really lead without my title. Okay. There's a book called The Love Languages with Gary Chapman as well. Check him out because he's the one that originated it. And it includes acts of service. It includes gift giving, quality time, affirmations, and
Physical
touch as well. And so when I actually take the time to be present with myself, because that's one of my top love languages is quality time, and I take the time to speak kindly to myself, I'm taking the time to lead myself into my better tomorrow. And then in addition to that, I still do all the other love languages too for myself because they're all still ways that we receive love. And then the second thing that I will give you is the positive intelligence test. There's 2. One to find out what your saboteurs are, and then one to figure out where your mental health is when it comes to your mental fitness and your actual where you are on the scale from 0 to 100, 100 being good, 71 being the tipping point to you having more positive days. Because to counteract one negative, you need 3 things to happen that are positive to counteract that one. Okay, gnarly, right? But that exam is free, and it's going to give you a really good insight of where you are. It's going to give you some good insight of why you justify why you do the things that you do. And it gives you where it came from in your childhood so that you can heal some things and move on and really lead the life that you want to live. Because at the end of the day, you have to answer at the end of your life for what you did. And I pray that at that end, you actually have no regrets because you didn't beat yourself down with the negative thoughts in your mind and not taking the time to love yourself to actually live your life to the fullest. So 2 gifts.
I love that. And it's interesting. I'm going to go on the first part of what you spoke about, which is you just kind of blew my mind a little bit when you talked about the 5 love languages, which I've read that book and taken, I think, a course on it, I think at one point. And, for me, it's words of affirmation and physical touch, right? And then for my wife, it's acts of service, clearly. And I think it's quality time. And, to add to her love tank, I need to make sure I'm doing acts of service and physical time, and quality time. And it's interesting in that dynamic of all that, because she's done acts of service and I'm like, I don't even react because it doesn't mean anything to me. But what blew my mind about what you said was applying the 5 love languages for yourself and how you speak, right? Or what you think or what you do for yourself, right? So you said for you, it's quality time, so you spend more time with yourself. You said it's also words of affirmation, so you speak positively yourself. I don't know about the physical touch for yourself. I don't know where that goes, so we're not going to go there, but because that's mine. But I love the
Oh
premise
no,
of what
it's
you're
like
saying.
this. I ground
There you
myself, so
go.
I
Okay.
really rub
All
my
right.
fingers together.
There you go. I
Simple
was
stuff.
Keep it PG, folks. Keep it PG. There we go. All right, there we go.
right?
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah, it's, I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of things you could get like one of those massagers and massage your back, but there's things you could do, right? I mean, nothing crazy, nothing R or rated beyond that, right? But yeah, but I love the fact that you apply it to yourself. Yeah, you apply it to yourself, right? That blew my mind a bit for sure. That's awesome. Well, good stuff. And in terms of saboteurs, right? Of course, many of us, we're our own worst saboteur, because the words and the people in our brain for years and years and years. Yolanda, I don't know if that's an embarrassing kind of thing. I don't know what I did, but sorry. I just, you got to keep it fun every now and then, right? I mean, this is a serious topic, so I'm trying to keep a little levity to the whole scenario here. Okay. Hopefully I didn't offend anyone,
Steve, we want to make sure that people get a chance to take advantage of what Sharante's given to everybody. So she's got the vision board workbook. So we're excited for people to get into this. And Sharante, how should people get in touch with you? So we got the link to this, and I know that they can go into that, and that's just they can get that download really quickly. But how would you prefer people reach out to you, Sharante?
Yeah, so honestly, it will be, if I'm not mistaken, Linktree/Sharente or jclv21.com. That vision workbook, that's literally the secrets, more secrets to the gold that I've been able to do in my life, because the vision boards have been able to direct my focus.
Okay.
I am now working on my third set of my vision boards because I've completed all the ones I've already done thus far in record time.
There's a real value to doing a vision board, and I have to check out your offer. I haven't been there yet, but I know that we've got a vision board up in our house, and so important to have a visual of where and what you want to accomplish in your life. You got to not only speak it, you got to see it and look at it regularly. And there's something psychological on vision boards where, because your brain constantly sees that image over and over and over again, it convinces itself that's what I'm supposed to have. And then it does the work subconsciously to create that lifestyle that you're putting up on a regular basis. So again, I'm not sure if the vision board is that type of vision, but Cameron's going to help us here. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, getting ready to get into the
we'll wrap it up here. We're getting to the top of the half hour.
I'll say this about the vision board thing, because we were cleaning the kids' room, and Leo's vision board was out on the floor. I hadn't seen it in a while. These are things that you want to revisit often. Vision boards are things that you want visual. You don't want stacked behind things. These big goals, if we don't keep them front and center, we're not marching towards them, right? Because that's what front and center means. They are in front of us, and we are marching towards them. So what a big deal, and what a great gift, Sharante. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. All right, so let's get into this. Let me talk about what's going on. So next week, same bad time, same bad channel, my folks. We have the amazing Ramon Ray with us, and we are so excited for this, and we wanted to just throw this up on the wall. Sharante, have you met or encountered Ramon Ray out in the world yet?
No, I have not, and I'm excited.
All right, here we go. So you're gonna watch along with us. He's an amazing individual.
Energy.
He's on the show with us next week. So check this out, everybody. Here we go.
No audio, sir. Well, he's got great energy. We're not hearing him, Cameron, but he's got great energy. You can see it from the visuals. Yeah, you can feel his energy. Yeah.
Oh, there's no
Look at that.
Let me try. I definitely
There was
do
no
on
sound.
my end. It's nice and loud. All right. let me try to do a test too. Let's see. Here we go. the buttons. Bear with me, my folks. This is fun stuff. So we'll get it going. All right. Share screen, share tab audio.
While he's doing that, Sharente, what's the best way for everyone to reach you?
Sure, she just went through that, but go ahead and tell them again.
JCLV21.com.
Well, I thought it was more about her vision board. That's what I was thinking, but okay.
Oh, yeah. I'll say this. If you guys want to connect with me, all social media, being serious, Pinterest, Twitter, TikTok, all that, Sharente Carr is everywhere. So just you Google me. You'll find me. I'm just being honest.
All right, cool. Perfect. All right.
All right. I'm gonna start this up. Just tell me if you're hearing sound.
Digital revolution in this new economy.
Was there sound?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Let's try it.
There was sound.
Take two.
I'm Ramon Ray, Article Magazine and smallbiztechnology.com.
You're here today to celebrate small business success. Stand up on your feet.
If you want to grow and advance in this digital revolution, in this new economy, you must be able to serve your customers as they want to be served.
Success comes from failure. It's always about the persistence, about the grit, about the keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh man, so I'm excited. I first met Ramon on a stage.
Everybody, this is Ramon Ray, founder of smarthustle.com, where we motivate and educate.
In the background, but I first met him I saw him on a stage in Atlantic City, and he was talking about branding yourself as an entrepreneur, and he's literally written the book on that, and he's somebody that I look up to. Been in my circle for a while, so I'm glad we got him on the show, Steve. I'm very excited about it, and everybody, in terms of being a master connector, 6 degrees of Ramon Ray for sure. Definitely get into his connections and make sure that you're connecting with him because he's a pretty big deal. He's in the circle of Glenn Lundy and Grant Cardone's. I'm messing up his name.
Cardone.
Cardone. That level of business. He has an energy like anything else, not only on stage, but as an entrepreneur, getting into all of the different social media and circles that you can. So we're looking forward to that. All right, Sharente, this is the part of the show that we look forward to every week. And for anybody that's watching this, I'm putting the link for next week's show into the chat now. But this is the part of the show that we always look forward to. We are going to count down to crush it. Steve is on the delay, so I'm going to let him count. I'm with him. Steve, let's do it.
Yeah, we want to make sure we give credit where credit's due before, because don't forget our sponsor, Toth Event Staffing. I don't know if you can throw up the slide, but we want to give credit for that as well. Appreciate. There you go.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, but thank you. Hey, listen, let's be the light. Let's make sure we uplift and inspire people and be that light for everybody. And the LIHT that they was talking about. So we're going to count down with our fingers. Sharente, join us, please. If you want to do it with the audience, just put in the comments. But ready? 5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Crush it!
Crush it!
Week, everybody. We'll see you next week with Ramon Ray. We're excited to see you then. Sharente, amazing job. Make sure you go and download the vision board workbook that she put into the comments there. We are excited about that. And if you got questions, definitely throw them in the comments there. I know that Sharente's will be checking it out later, and we'll make sure that your questions are answered. Yolanda, thank you as always for being loyal community member. She's got the question in there. Everybody, see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.